Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and it's Survivor Series 87. And Andrew, check out the shirt I'm wearing today. This is an old one.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah, before I started working out, this is when I was large. Dude, I have so many cool large shirts, and I don't want to give them up because I think I could probably resell them down the line. But like, I hate how
Oh,
I look wearing
100%.
them. You know what I mean?
100% you can resell. Yeah.
So like, I was wearing this at the movie theater, and there were these cute girls next to me, and I'm like, yo, I actually always wear small now, but I have to represent Andre for the podcast.
It doesn't shrink.
I mean, no.
You watch
No, I
Screen.
don't. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
You watch Screen today.
Yeah, I saw Scream. It was good.
How was it?
It was good. I liked it. It was my favorite sequel since the first one. It
Really?
takes place in Uptown New York. So the killer is revealed to be D.F. Sweedler. So, you know, it wasn't much
No, I
of a
don't
twist.
believe that.
It wasn't
Can't
much
come.
of a twist, but
Yeah, can't compensate you. But all right, yeah, possibly.
what are you gonna do? I mean, he
Yeah,
had a great performance. So,
for once.
speaking of people going nowhere, AEW went down in the ratings. Again after this pay-per-view that was so fucking good according to Brian Alvarez and really set the company in motion. Dude, I just want to talk about this before we get into Survivor Series. I liked the Iron Man match. I thought the
Yes.
finish was an abomination. And having great matches don't pay the bills. I don't know when people are going to realize that. If you know what pays the bills? A great story that ends with a great match. That's what pays the bills. We've seen it at WrestleMania 3. We've seen in both matches, and we see it with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. You know,
They had 858,000 viewers, so it's actually up from the previous week, but the 2 weeks before that, it was a million. So
a
they,
year ago, right after Revolution, they had 945,000.
yeah, they're not. I think like around this number is like their average now. Or it feels like it. They're constantly getting like 800 ish, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Well, I'll tell you what the big problem with this fucking show is that Jeff Jarrett's on TV every week. I just don't understand how, dude. He won a battle royal a few weeks ago. He
Yes.
fucking beat up Orange Cassidy last night. Now he's a title shot against Orange Cassidy. How the fuck? No one answers me this. People will just be like, it's harmless. No, it's not harmless. It's not harmless at all. How the fuck are you putting Jeff Jarrett on TV every week in 2023? There is no argument that everything Jeff Jarrett has done since he showed up, Sonny Kiss can't do, Miro can't do. Who else hasn't been around? You could hire Warhorse and have him do what Jeff Jarrett's been doing. There are so many fucking young people you could put in this position, and it's not going to. You can say Jeff Jarrett's a no name. That doesn't affect the rating. Jeff Jarrett's not bringing in a single new viewer. If you have Miro or anything, the ratings will be the same, maybe, but there's no point in having this guy on TV every. They put him on every fucking week.
Yo, was Swerve on last night?
Now, Keith Lee, that you could put Keith Lee in this role with Jay Z.
Yeah, I
There's so
don't.
many fucking guys that you could have with Jay Lethal every fucking week, and it's Jeff Jarrett. And
But
it's
Hogan's not allowed on that show.
what?
But Hogan's not allowed on that show.
Hogan's not allowed.
Yeah.
Dude, I really do think though, like when you have Jay Lethal, and no offense to what I'm about to say, but when you have Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe and Jeff Jarrett on this show, I think to a lot of people who are like lapsed, it just looks like another TNA, except they got bigger arenas.
Oh, at this point, yeah, it very, very much reminds me of TNA.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't think so, I think you're fooling yourself at this
Yeah.
point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it, dude. I don't think people remember TNA the way they need to. TNA was the number two promotion, and it was by a large margin, right? From
Mm-hmm.
number one, which is kind of like what AEW and WBE is right now.
Mm-hmm.
AEW is number two, but it's by a large margin compared to number one, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not even close. And that's kind of like what TNA was, man. TNA was getting millions of viewers. They were getting millions of viewers, 100% were, but they were still nowhere close to WB, and that's kind of like where AEW is right now.
But here's the other thing about TNA. TNA, I watched the first year. In the first year, every other week, the X Division with AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, Chris Daniels, Loki, they would have. I still think my 2002 match of the year was on week 2 of TNA. Like, no match in WWE that year. Hogan and Rock is an all-time classic, but in terms of work rate, that was the best match of the year. Nobody remembers it. You know why? Because Jeff Jarrett was these matches had no storyline, and the main storyline was about fucking Jeff Jarrett, who no one gave a fuck about 22 years ago. No one's gonna give a fuck about him right now, and that's the thing. It's like, did MJF and Daniel Bryan fucking have a great Iron Man match? Yeah, but the story leading into it sucked, and the payoff last night sucked. It's gonna be forgotten about in a year. No one talks about this. No one talks about the CM Punk MJF dog collar match, and I thought that was like the best match that company had a year ago, and it had a great story. They just don't know how to. They don't know how to fucking dude. They need writers. They need an overhaul, man.
Do you remember what the majority of the storyline in the X Division was? It was these guys
the
are
best
fighting.
wrestler in the world.
No, these guys were wrestling for the #1 contender. It was almost every.
Well, they started that when Hogan showed up, but before it was. Oh yes. I thought you meant to do the cash-in option C. Oh, I thought you meant.
No, but like every
Mhm.
X Division match was like to see who's #1 contender,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's what's happening in AEW. Like every fucking match is to see like who's #1 contender, and it's like
There's no storyline that he doesn't know how to tell stories, and dude, like there's so many great matches. I'm almost tempted to be like, we should cover the pay-per-view era when we get to that, but we'll see where we are when we get to 2002, because there's so many great matches no one talks about. It's on the Impact app. They're real, and I think I'm forgetting a Jerry Lynn AJ Styles ladder match that in 2002. For what I remember, that was next level. No one talks about that. No one fucking. Do you even know what the fuck I'm talking about?
me.
Yeah, Jerry Lynn,
Yeah,
AJ Styles ladder match.
I used to watch TNA. Yeah,
I know, but
dude,
in 2002,
I watched them when they were still doing that stupid like one weekly pay-per-view.
yes, that's what I'm talking about. That era.
Yeah,
AJ
yeah, I
Styles.
watched it. I watched it when they were on TSN, and
But what I'm saying is nobody sits around. Like, you know how people sit around, they talk about Hogan Rock, or they even talk about like Benoit Angle, and they talk about even Guerrero Mysterio in WCW, and even Guerrero Mysterio in WWF. No one talks about these fucking TNA matches, because it doesn't matter how great the fucking match is if there's no story.
yeah, that's true.
Or if the story sucks, and that's what's happening with AEW. Nobody even like remembers.
The thing that I remember the most from early TNA is like the flying Elvises. I swear to God, that's like one of the only things I really remember vividly.
You know what? They should bring back the flying Elvises. That's where Sonny Kiss could really shine.
You know what? Actually, Sonny Kiss would make good flying Elvis. 100%.
Yeah, we gotta give him a call. Tell him to get on that. But enough about that. Today we're here to review Survivor Series 87. A little background on the Survivor Series 87. This was the same night as Starrcade. This was created to fuck over NWA and take out Jim Crockett, and they succeeded. If you remember what I told you last week, if a cable company carried Starrcade, they couldn't get Survivor Series and they couldn't get WrestleMania 4.
Yeah.
And so very few cable companies carried Starrcade 87. They lost. I actually did listen to an interview. I was listening to Arn Anderson's podcast about him leaving Crockett for WWF in 88. And they played Jim Crockett talking to Conrad. And he did say Starrcade 87 was such a failure that he knew that night it was over.
Jim Crockett knew it was over. Wait, you saying Jim Crockett knew it was over?
Jim Crockett, yeah. Jim Crockett, the guy, the owner. He did an interview with Conrad right before he died. So even though I thought it was a good show, he knew that night it was over. So
wait, Jim Crockett's dead?
What?
Jim Crockett's dead?
Yeah, he died. It was a pretty big night on Dynamite. I remember like Arn Anderson and Tully came out and like Tony mentioned Jim Crockett dying.
Wow, this happened recently?
Yeah, it happened early 2021. Like before, I know it definitely happened before WrestleMania where Roman beat Daniel Bryan. They talked about it on fucking Dynamite
Oh my god, he died like almost a year ago.
2 years ago.
No, like, oh yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, your time's weird. Yeah, because I remember because Tully, Sting, and Arn were like in the ring and they all like nodded to each other or something.
Dude, he died like from COVID.
Yeah, it's not real though. So don't forget.
Yeah, I don't remember this happening. And
Yeah,
I was watching
we talked
Dynamite.
about it when we did the reviews. But yeah, he died. He right before he died, he did an interview with Conrad and Arn Anderson. They played it for Arn Anderson because Arn Anderson's still bitter towards them, and Arn Anderson was basically like, "Fuck him." But he kind of knew that his money situation, like, it was over at Starrcade '87. So this is what I'm going to say to you. I'm going to see if you agree. Watching this show, it feels like the wrestlers really don't know how to structure these matches, and it kind of makes sense because this was booked on the fly to just fuck someone over. It wasn't booked to be like a great show.
Yeah, Starrcade was better than Survivor Series.
Yeah, yeah. This was just
And
booked. This was just booked to fuck.
Survivor Series, this was an atrocious show. I feel bad for the people who paid money for this.
There's actually there's only really one good match, but yeah,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
this is a
There's
pretty bad show.
first off, there's 4 matches, and I was like, by match 2, I was like, I can't believe I'm halfway into this. I fucking feel so bad for the people who paid money and drove out here like the day after fucking Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
wasting their time and their money
No,
on
it
this.
was Thanksgiving night. It wasn't the day after.
Really, this is Thanksgiving night.
Yeah.
Fuck, I feel bad for people. I would have. I don't know how I would have stayed wrestling this if I, this
Well,
was a bad show.
it was. Well, the match. I just think the wrestlers like he just booked this show,
Hmm.
and the wrestlers were like, "How the fuck?" Because they don't really. They don't. They, no one ever really did 5-on-5 matches, and I think this was like, "Fuck it, figure it out." And then while they get to 88 and 89, the matches are a lot better because they realized. But this was just, I think, everyone was just trying to figure this out, and they really couldn't.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe if Junior didn't do that, give people that ultimatum, I think he could have 100% just lost because there's no way Starrcade would have fucking should have lost to this
Well,
garbage.
if because so Jim Crockett made a mea culpa. He put it in the afternoon, so he's like, "Oh, people can order both pay-per-views."
Hmm.
And I think if people ordered both pay-per-views, people would have been like, "I want to watch more NWA."
Yeah, I think so, 100%. Yeah,
But that's why Vince is Vince because this show was not this show wasn't meant to be a good show. This show is meant to hurt this guy. And
yeah, yeah. I think it's very clear. This show was never meant to be a good show. It's
no,
very clear.
it's not. They start making them good next year. I remember liking '88. I remember as a kid because I used to eat up these old shows, even WrestleMania 2. I did not like this one. I liked one match, which I wound up not liking when I don't want to spoil it ahead of time. But I remember not liking this one, and now I know because this was basically this was an attack. This show. This wasn't a show. This was a fucking gang jumping in an alleyway.
Yeah. So Survivor Series happens November 26, 1987, in the Richfield Coliseum in Ohio. There are 21,300 people in attendance.
And they're rabid.
There's a lot of people. Remember, this takes place 8 months after WrestleMania 3, which
And
WrestleMania 3 was so fucking good. I can understand why over 20,000 people are going to show up on this. In comparison, Starrcade '87, which happened the same day, I think you had like what 13,000 or something.
7,000.
11,000.
7.
7,000.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no way. Uh,
Yeah, 7,000 people I think showed up.
all right, 8,000, which is still, dude. Can you guys? That means Survivor Series more than doubled the
Mm-hmm.
attendance that the Starrcade that happened in the same night was whole happening. Basically, that's insane.
Yeah,
I guess because they're kind of close. One's in Chicago, one's in Ohio. That's kind of close, right?
but also this is the first time Hogan and Andre are going to go face to face since WrestleMania 3. They hadn't wrestled or looked at each other since that event.
Yeah, and like I said, I totally get it. This is
I think Andre went away to film Princess Bride.
Yeah, this is only 8 months after WrestleMania 3, and that was so hot. You could tell like that feud is still hot in people's heads.
Oh yeah,
Anyway.
people wanted more Andre Hogan, and this was the promise. You're going to get that, and you're going to get all these other guys. What could happen?
Yeah, Howard Finkel. We get a cold open. Howard Finkel introduces the audience to Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse Ventura, who's wearing a pilgrim hat, and then after they walk to their announce booth, they show a video intro, and then they go over the rules of the Survivor Series. Because there's only 4 ways to get eliminated. Obviously, pinfall, submission, disqualification, or if the ref goes to, you can't go on.
Yeah, they kind of dropped that ref thing. They never used that in any of the matches ever.
Yeah, we get a new guy, some guy named Craig DeGeorge.
Yeah, he was there briefly. Yeah.
Craig DeGeorge. I never seen this guy before. Craig DeGeorge. He is interviewing Honky Tonk Man and his team. Honky Tonk Man cuts a promo. Let me tell you something about Craig DeGeorge. I am not into Craig DeGeorge.
I don't think they were either. Was Mean Gene on this show at all?
What?
Was Mean Gene on this show at all?
Yes, he was. And I think that was a mistake as well, because when you see Craig DeGeorge and then you see Mean Gene, there's a world of difference. And I think that was a mistake. But anyway, we go to after Craig DeGeorge interviews Honky's team, Mean Gene is up next interviewing Ricky Steamboat, Jim Duggan, Savage on their team. These are the opposing teams. There's some mic problems, but doesn't matter. We're going to go straight to our first match. Harley Race with Bobby Heenan, Hercules, Ron Bass, the outlaw Ron Bass, and Dangerous Danny Davis, and Honky Tonk Man, who is the Intercontinental Champion, with Jimmy Hart, versus Ricky Steamboat, Brutus the Barber Beefcakes, Jake the Snake Roberts, Jim Duggan, Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth. Hercules and Beefcake start the match. Gorilla Monsoon calls him the Beefer. Harley Race looks terrible. He's the worst looking one in this match.
He's the greatest.
He has Eddie Kingston vibe. So if you guys remember, at this point, Harley Race is 44 years old in this match. I get it. Harley Race is great, but in this match, he's 44 years old. He's got skinny arms and he's got a giant gut.
Did you see Jake the Snake's gut in this match?
Oh, it's not as bad as Harley Race's, dude. Harley Race had a real big gut.
Yeah.
He legit looked like Eddie Kingston.
He looked like he was eating pizza since WrestleMania 3.
Yeah. I mean, he could still bump and move, but it looks terrible.
He's not even in it that long.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston could bump and move too, but he just looks like shit. Anyway, Harley Race and Jim Duggan, they both go outside. They both get counted out. Then the Beefer hits a high knee on Ron Bass, who gets thrown out afterwards. Honky Tonk Man hits the shake, rattle, and roll neck breaker on the Beefer, so now Beefer is out. The referee, who looks like a fucking gremlin, he's so ugly, this referee. He comes on this match. He did a close-up of the referee during this match, and I was like, ugh. Anyway, Jake the Snake Robber hits a DDT on Danny Davis, who goes out. And then Ricky Steamboat, he cleans up Hercules, and Savage hits the elbow on Hercules, so Hercules out. So now we have 3 good guys against 1 bad guy. Ricky Steamboat, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Savage versus Honky Tonk Man. They're just beating the shit out of Honky. Honky's bumping for everybody. There's a loud DDT chant. Honky gets thrown outside the ring, and he goes, you know what? Fuck this shit. And he just leaves. And he leaves by count out. And 3 good guys win. What did you think, man?
I thought this was the best match in the show, but it still wasn't very good. I'll say a few things. I thought I liked Honky Tonk Man a lot in this match. I realized he's better than I thought as a kid.
Yeah.
And he should be the Jeff Jarrett and not Jeff Jarrett being Jeff Jarrett.
You know what Honky is?
He knows how to be a heel.
Yeah, he's not doing a whole bunch of moves that are like making you go, wow, that's a great move. You know why? Because he doesn't want you to do that. He's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one he's supposed to be annoying, which he is, and you are supposed to want to see him get his ass kicked, which you do see.
And he's a coward.
Yes, exactly. That's
He's
like
not making fucking Macho Man tap out.
no. And you know what? Like he hits he has one move and it's supposed to take you out, and that's good enough, right? The shake,
Yeah.
rattle, and roll. Boom, he hits it, you go out. But man, I really like. I thought Honky was great in this match as well.
Also, I thought when watching this match, I was like, you know what? Fucking Macho Man, Jake the Snake, and Ricky Steamboat would have been a way better Blackpool Combat Club than the three idiots we have in it now. Jake the Snake as the Moxley, fucking Ricky Steamboat as the Daniel Bryan, and I thought the teamwork those three had hitting moves was pretty good. It is weird though to see Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat best friends. Like
Yeah, like less
Hogan and
than a
Andre
year.
still hate each other, but these guys are
Yeah,
like
yeah.
buddies now.
Less than a year later,
Yeah.
from their epic match at WrestleMania 3, Savage and Steamboat are good friends.
This is what's crazy about this match. Savage has intense feuds with everyone on his team.
Oh yeah,
Hacksaw, Bruce Beefcake, and Jake the Snake in the
yeah,
future, and Steamboat in the past. So it's weird. It's like Macho Man and all his enemies.
yeah.
You
I
know,
will say I did not think this was the best match on the show. If you actually watch it, it's not really a good match.
well, it gets good when there's less people in it.
Yeah, a lot of this match is just kicking and punching, kicking and punching. And when somebody hits one wrestling move, it actually sends the guy out, right?
Here's the other thing though. I realized, and
Mhm.
you especially realize it in the third match, is that they never wrestled with this many people on the apron. And a lot of the moves require them to hit the ropes. And if there's five guys blocking where you can go, you can't hit the ropes, so you kind of have to hit less moves. You know what I'm saying? You have
Kind
less
of.
mobility. I think they figured it out later, but I think they were like, you can tell like they're like hesitant to like go near the ropes with that many guys.
Well, here's the thing too. You might think if you're hearing us just talk about this and say like most of this match is just kicking and punching, and then somebody hits a wrestling move like a DDT or something, and then they pin, the guy gets out. It sounds bad, but believe it or not, the people in the audience were going crazy for this
Yeah.
match.
Well, also this is like the first time you get to see, like,
Yeah.
it's like the Macho Man's team is like a superhero team. Like that's
Oh
like
yeah.
that was a faction,
Ricky Steamboat's super over. Jim Duggan's super over. Jake the Snake Roberts is super over. Everybody is super over.
and they're all
So
like legends.
yeah. And if I was a wrestler and they told me I was gonna be in this bullshit like 8-man tag match that doesn't mean
No,
anything, and
10
I'm
man,
opening,
10 man.
oh, 10-man, and it doesn't mean anything, like no titles on the line or anything, and I'm opening, you know what I would be like? Guys, we're gonna have an easy night. Just
Yeah.
kicking and punching. I'm not gonna fucking bump more than twice, guys. Like, I think that's probably what the mentality was. So
Yeah.
if you're
But
looking at
that's
it
the
from a
right mentality.
yeah, if you're looking at it from a standpoint of like technicality, this is actually not a good match at all. But it's still like an enjoyable match to watch. Like I never got like annoyed watching this match.
Yeah. Like this match is like, yeah, these guys shouldn't kill each other because this show is booked to ruin Ric Flair's life. This show, you know what I mean? It's like, why are we gonna
Yeah,
fucking, they all knew it. They're gonna act like they didn't. Like, why would like fucking, like, they didn't do this back then, but like, why would Ricky Steamboat do a swanton through a table when they know the reason why this show exists? This show doesn't
yeah.
exist to be good or to be remembered.
The person who was bumping the most was Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah.
Like the guy was bumping all over the place, and like he should be. He's the main bad guy in this. But
Yeah, he
um,
was good.
yeah, and you
Yeah,
know what?
there was,
It doesn't matter as long as like the people care about the people who are wrestling. You know?
the people were into it.
Yeah, and the people will always be into it. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Craig DeGeorge, he interviews Andre the Giant, One Man Gang, Bundy,
Butch
Rick
Reed.
Rude, Butch Reed, and Slick, and Heenan, and Andre and Slick. They just cut promos on the good guys they're going to face later. And then we're going to go to match number 2. Unlike the first match, and unlike actually all the matches we're going to see, there's no entrance. No
No.
entrances at all for match number 2. It is a ladies' match. We get Judy Martin, Leilani Kai, who's now blonde. These two are the Glamour Girls. They're the ladies tag team champions with Jimmy Hart as their manager. They got their tag team partner is Dawn Marie from ECW. Donna Christianella And Sherry, sensational Sherry, who is the ladies champion, versus Velvet McIntyre, Rockin' Robin, the Jumping Bomb Angels from Japan, and Fabulous Moolah, who when Howard Finkel's introducing Fabulous Moolah, he says she weighs 160 pounds and she makes this face.
Oh,
Like,
the announcers pick up on that.
yeah, what?
The announcers pick up on it. Did you hear?
Oh yeah. He says 160 pounds, and you see Moolah like make his face like what the fuck, right?
I
And
think they
you
told
know,
me. I think some of them were ribbing her.
oh, they were 100% ribbing her, but it's really funny too. I think things like that is really funny. Because if she didn't make that face, I wouldn't have picked up on it at
Yeah,
all,
yeah, yeah.
you know. But she legit is annoying when they say that. Right off the bat, there's a lot of old broads on this fucking match, right? Sensational Sherry really sticks out, just the way she looks. Oh my god,
Well, so the Jumping Bomb Angels, they stick out.
they don't stick out in how they look, right? They stuck out on how they perform, but appearance wise,
Well,
like you could be like,
they had like the jean jackets of the time, which is what a lot of young girls wore, and
mhm.
so they do. Them and Sherry, they look young and hip, and everyone else looks like they came from the nursing home. I'm
Yeah,
surprised he
yeah.
even
There's a
found 10
lot of
women.
there was there's a lot of old ladies in this thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, this match, a very fucking long match. Velvet McIntyre, who's actually a pretty decent wrestler, she hits a victory roll on Donna. So Donna, she gets eliminated first. Then Rockin' Robin, who was probably one of the worst ones in this match, she hits a crossbody on Dawn Marie. Dawn Marie gets out. This crowd is dead as fuck. And then Izuki Yamazaki from the Jumping Bomb Angels, she starts hitting these fucking moves that brings the crowd in. And she's doing bridge out, she's doing these fucking drop kicks and
And
shit.
Jesse Ventura starts going crazy on commentary.
Yeah, but she's really good. And she literally legit brings the crowd back alive.
That's what I'm saying. Like Jesse's like, well, look at these fucking moves.
Jesse's like saying, I've never seen women wrestle like this. He's like, I've never seen women wrestle like this. He's blown away by them. Sensational. And Sherry, she hits a suplex on Rockin' Robin. So Rockin' Robin's out. While this match is happening, Jesse goes, these women, they should really consider shaving their heads because they would then have to avoid the hair pulling because there is so much hair pulling in this match. So much.
That was the move I think Moolah taught them. They didn't really
Yeah,
know.
everything is hair pulling. Everything is hair pulling. There's a double clothesline, and Moolah gets out. I was surprised. I thought Moolah was going to win this fucking thing. Velvet's McIntyre, she hits a big swing, and then another victory roll on Sherry, the ladies champion. She goes out, and then Leilani Kai hits a slick. She has Velvet McIntyre up on the fucking electric chair position because Velvet's trying to hit the victory roll. And Leilani like fucking slingshots her off the rope and just hits a fucking like electric chair drop. It looks pretty good, but it fucking takes Velvet out. And Izuka hits a crossbody on Leilani Kai. And Leilani Kai's out. Jimmy Hart gets up on the apron, but he gets knocked out. And then the Jumping Bomb Angels hit a top rope clothesline on Judy, who goes out. So the winners of this match are the Jumping Bomb Angels. They're the only ones left. What did you think of this?
When I was a kid, I loved this match. I consider this the best match on the show when I was a kid. I thought the Jumping Bomb Angels were like fucking insane. I thought they were awesome. Now watching it back, I'm like, they're not doing anything that crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not, but I get for the time it was fucking impressive. And I think Vince was gonna go with them as the new stars. Apparently, in the middle of 1988, one of them gets pregnant and decides I'm retiring and having babies. And they didn't have use for the other one, so they told the other one to go work at the sushi restaurant.
That one who ended up having babies, she lives in Bergen County, New Jersey right now.
Oh, really?
Same county, yeah, my county. I don't know what town, but she lives in my county right
Oh,
now.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I looked
so
her up because I was so impressed by them in this match. I had to
yeah,
look them
well,
up.
they have even better matches on primetime wrestling, and they were really fucking good, and they were kind of like not an urban legend, but like a cult hit with a lot of fans. And yeah, I think if they had stayed around, I think Vince was going to build around them. And you know, like they really, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but later on, Jesse they just start talking about them again, like
Yeah,
how good they are. Yeah.
she
So
should have put the dick down, man.
yeah, but
Put the
yeah,
dick down.
I rewatching it, I didn't like this match as much as I did as a kid. But I get for it's because the other women are so bad and these two are so fucking good. But I wish they stuck around more because I kind of feel like it felt like they were like a bigger deal than what they actually were. But I wish they stuck around longer. I think they could be like the fucking biggest women wrestlers. One of the biggest women. They could be the biggest women's wrestling tag team of all time if they had stuck around a little bit longer.
They could have been, yeah. So this match, if you don't know, if you're just looking at it from a match standpoint, this match is absolutely better than the first match.
You
There's just
think so? Wow.
actual so much more wrestling, you know? And it's not just the Jumping Bomb Angels who are good. Delvin McIntyre is actually pretty good,
She
you
reminded me a
know?
lot of Becky Lynch, not just because she's Irish, but there was like a lot of Becky Lynch in her. I wonder if Becky
Yeah,
Lynch
I can
studied
see
her.
that she's very fiery, right? She's very fiery. She did some good moves. Like her victory rolls were really fucking good.
Mhm.
She, her big swings were good. Sherry was actually pretty good too. And you know who else was really impressive compared to like the first time I saw her? Leilani Kai, because when I saw her at WrestleMania
Yeah.
1, she stunk. But she was like intense in this one. She was like,
Leilani Kai has a long career, and people say she's really good. Yeah.
yeah, she's very intense. Like you really think, I had to look it up because it looked like she really didn't like Jumping Bomb Angels because some of the hits looked stiff. And
I don't like Asians. Yeah.
I read an interview and they're still friends. They were like, oh, they're like she was like the one of the Jumping Bomb Angels. She's like, oh, I still talk to Leilani Kai to this day. This is like a couple of years ago. They're
Mhm.
like, oh, they're such great women. They were like so nice to me. So I was like, oh my God, like she loves the glamour girls. They're all friends, but like you can't tell when you're watching it. Some stuff I was like, that almost looks like they're not communicating. They're,
They have a. I think they have a match at the Royal Rumble, the Jumping Bomb Angels and the
uh,
Glamour Girls, but they also have some matches on some old Coliseum videos that I don't know if they're on the network or not that are really fucking good. So the thing that was interesting about this match, and it's very surprising given what we know about Vince, they weren't trying to get the women over on sex appeal. He's trying to get the women over as fucking athletes, as like, you know what I mean? Like, look at the work rate on these women. And I thought that was interesting that because Jesse's not doing, I mean, Jesse does do things on his own, but I feel like they were told at a time, you got to really put over what athletes these women are.
yeah. And here's the thing. Yeah, there were some duds in this match, like Moolah and Dawn Marie. But here's the
I feel
thing.
like Moolah probably got that girl pregnant.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Okay.
Those women were hardly in the match, and they get eliminated pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So they get
including
rid of all
Moolah.
the old ladies out pretty quick. Now, with that being said, here's the thing. Nobody gave a fuck about this match. Okay? And this proves it doesn't fucking matter how good you fucking wrestle. If
Mhm.
you're not connecting to the fans, nobody gives a
Well,
fuck.
I think if they had stuck around, Vince would have found a way for them to connect with the fans as characters, but they were in and they were out. And before they could, I think
Yeah,
there's an
but
alternate dimension where they're huge stars.
not just them. I mean, like the fans didn't connect to anybody in this
Oh,
match.
yeah, yeah. But when they do
So
start hitting the moves, they start getting into them.
yeah, but there was only that one brief period. It was like when like the Jumping Bomb Angels like really wake them up. But it's really sad when you watch this and you go, is the wrestling actually better in this match than the first one? Yes, but nobody really cares about this. The first match has all fucking
And there's a lot of
enthusiasm.
story. There's a lot of story going
Yeah,
on in that match.
exactly. So
Brutus
you
Beefcake.
could even apply this to today's standards.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not all just wrestling. If you really want people to be invested, you gotta fucking make them care. You know.
Yeah. Well,
But anyway,
Tony Khan
I
doesn't
think
care.
I think Young Yu was not 100% wrong.
Yeah.
If you watch it's better
Well, I
actually.
remember this. I remember that. I remember them really well. So, like the fact that they made an impression on me as a kid, and I was not a work rate little kid. The fact that they did that meant like they were onto something with them. It's sad that they never really went all the way with it, but it is what it is.
Gotta put that dig down. I'm always telling you that, Ray. You gotta put that dig down.
Hebrew.
All right, Craig DeGeorge, he's with Bobby Heenan and the Hart Foundation and Demolition and Greg the Hammer Valentine's and the Islanders, Jimmy Hart there, and I'm just like, I did not know, I did not look at the card I just watch this. I don't even look at the card pre-show. I just like before the show. I'm just watching. I'm like, boy, this show is a lot of fucking people here, and I didn't know what to expect. And all of a sudden, oh, by the way, there's Slick. He's in there. He's in the ring with Nikita Koloff. No, no,
Boris Zukov and Nikolai Volkov.
Nikolai Volkov, who sings the national anthems, and Boris. What's his fucking name?
Boris
Zukov,
Zukov.
right? And I'm like, okay, wait, aren't these guys all bad guys? I'm like, wait a minute. Now I'm getting confused. I thought, are these guys facing the Heart Foundation and Demolition and everything? And then Mean Gene's there with Tito Santana and Rick Martel, and then they fucking tell me this is actually a 10 versus 10 match. I was
Yeah,
like,
20-man tag team.
what the fuck? So this is match number 3. It is Demolition with Mr. Fuji and Greg the Hammer Valentine and Dino Bravo with Johnny V, who is now they're called the Dream Team, with Haku and Tama, with Bobby Heenan. They're called the Islanders, with the Hart Foundation, with Greg, with Jimmy Hart, and Volkov and Boris Zukov, the Bolsheviks, versus the British Bulldogs, the Young Stallions, which is Jim Powers and Paul Roma, the Fabulous Rougeau brothers, which is Jacques and Raymond, Strike Force, which is Tito Santana and Rick Martel, and the Killer Bees. It's a lot of fucking people. You cannot even see the action in the beginning because there's so many people on the apron. They're covering like all sides of the ropes. Right away, Tito Santana hits the flying forearm. Zukov gets out. So that means his entire team goes off. So Zukov is out, and the fucking Nikolai Volkov is out. And then Jacques misses a crossbody and Axe covers him. The Rougeaus are out. Then Smash, while he's wrestling, he shoves the ref out of the way. Ref calls for a DQ. Demolition is out. Tito Santana has Greg the Hammer Valentine covered. Bret Hart drops an elbow on the back of Tito's head. Team Strike Force gets out. This next part is the one I think is the funniest things that happen. Dynamite Kid goes for a flying headbutt on Haku, but because Haku's an Islander, his head is harder. So Dynamite Kid like staggering, like, fuck, that really fucked me up. So Haku fucking takes a thrust kick on Dynamite Kid, and Dynamite Kid goes out. So even from the 80s, like, they're just like, all Samoans have really hard heads.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that like inside joke that's like constantly there. They did that like recently, like I think like last year or something. They did somebody headbutted one of the Samoans, and they're just like, "Oh, it fucked me up," right?
Yeah.
I forgot who it was, but somebody did it. Jim Powers blind tags Paul Roma, who sunset flips on a distracted Greg the Hammer Valentine. So Dream Team is out. So we got Jim Brazell. He hits a reverse cover on Bret Hart, so the Hart Foundation is out. And then Brian Blair puts on one of those stupid ass Killer Bee masks and hits a sunset flip on Tama, and the Islanders are out. So the winners of this match was the Young Stallions and the Killer Bees. What did you think?
Way too long. Nobody cared. The two teams that nobody has ever given a fuck about won. Either the British Bulldogs or the Strike Force. And it just was kind of like, this was what I mean by actually, Bruce Pritchard said this match was not good because there's so many. That's what he said. He said there's so many people on the apron, you can't really do any moves because there's nowhere to go. You know. So they
started eliminating people right away because
because the people that are left have to be able to do shit. I mean, so even at the end, like there's on one side, there's like 3 guys on the. I mean, I don't know. It's a good idea, but it wasn't done properly. It stunk.
I don't even think this was a good idea. I think this was a terrible idea. I think
the one in '88. It's so funny. This match they do this again in '88, and that's a really good match.
Really, 10 versus 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
But let's see who's added. You have the Rockers and you have the Brainbusters added, and that changes a lot.
Yeah, I was looking at this and I was like, this is why Junior hates tag teams. It's just like a bunch of
It's just
guys
so
who
many
just
people
like,
who are not over.
yeah, they were
By the
not over.
way, did
Yeah,
you notice that they were really emphasizing Jim Neidhart and not Bret Hart?
they were emphasizing Brett a lot though. Right? They kept mentioning how good Brett was.
Yeah, Gorilla, but there was a theory that like in the early days of the Hart Foundation, Vince thought Neidhart would be the breakout, not Bret.
I could tell from this match that they really like the Hart Foundation
Well,
because
they're
even
the best.
Jesse,
In my opinion, they're the best tag team. One of the best
they
tag.
do mention Jim Neidhart a lot. They go like, "Look how powerful he is," and Jim was. There were a couple times where he picks a fucking big dude up and just throws him, right? But they were also like really talking up Bret Hart, like Gorilla Monster's like, real wow, Bret Hart's really come a long way, and like Jesse Ventura goes like, "Dude, his dad's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Stu Hart." Like he mentions it all. That's why I was so surprised when they get kicked out like midway into the
Yeah,
match.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, wait, this is like they're even the team captain, right?
Well, the
And they get
Strike
kicked
Force
out mid
was the
match.
tag champions and they get eliminated.
Yeah, that's another
It's
thing
like
too.
really weird that the Killer Bees and the Young Stallions win.
Yeah, because like on the good guys, I would say the two most popular teams were like
The Bulldog.
Strike Force were the tag champions and the Bulldogs, and those two teams all get knocked out like early on, and you're left with the Islanders and the Killer Bees and the fucking Young Stallions, and it almost seems like, oh, I guess they're trying to use this to prop up the new younger guys or whatever, right?
Closing
But
the
it
place.
was it was a mess. It was not like, and this was not enjoyable to
You know
watch.
what? You know why the Hart Foundation, in my mind, is a great tag team, and I'll tell you. And this is why I like Swerve and Our Glory until they went away. They're two very different guys, and they're two very different styles. So
Yes,
when one guy's in the ring, you're getting a different match, and when the other guy's in the ring, and then they also there's different strengths, and as an opponent of that team, you have to actually strategize. The Young Bucks, even the Usos for that matter, it's like you're fighting the same guy. It's just you're just fighting two clones of the same guy. This is like Bret Hart can do shit Jim Neidhart can't do, and Jim Neidhart can do shit Bret Hart can't do, and they're
yes.
very different personalities, and but together it works, and that's what makes a great tag team. I don't like tag teams with
Very
that.
good point. That is a
Yeah,
very good point. Is there any current tag teams that are like that right now?
not really. I'm trying to think. Not really. I mean, even Xavier and Kofi are like same fucking guy.
Yeah,
He and Kofi is like that.
even the creeds are kind of similar.
Yeah, and I
You're
like
right.
that.
You're right. Like Swerve and Our Glory was, they were a good tag team, and I think that's a good point because they were two different styles, 100%.
Yeah, it's like you're getting like two different matches. Whereas it's not just like because if you think about it, if it's like the fucking Rockers and the Brainbuster, no matter who is in that ring, even though I like those two teams, it's the same fucking match. But Brett and Jim are giving you two different matches, but they work.
Yeah, you could have two wrestlers be like the same style, and they're still a good tag team, and their matches are still fun to watch. But there is something to be said about a tag team of two different styles, and
Yeah,
they're freaking fucking really fucking good. You're right, bro. There really isn't a tag team that's like that right now.
there
That's
really
weird.
isn't, and I don't know why they haven't done
You
it
know who's kind of like that? Street Profits a little bit.
a little bit, but it's
Yeah,
not.
because what's his name? Angelo Dawkins is not. He's more power than High Flyer,
Yeah,
and Ford is a high flyer. So it's a little. They're a little bit like that, but not a lot. Not as much as the Hart Foundation.
you know who
Yeah,
was kind of like this too? Beer Money was kind of like this. Like they were both like kind of different styles, and then they. That's why I think they
yeah.
were.
Beer Money was. Beer Money was. Yeah,
Beer Money
absolutely.
is probably my favorite TNA tag team, and it's just it's like they complement each other. These two.
Wow, over the Flying Elvises.
No, well, no. But yeah, no, but yeah, this match was like it was way too long. I think it was basically there to pad out the show.
Yeah, you know who or showcase his tag teams that felt like you
Yeah, I
showcased.
felt it was just there to pad out the show. You're
You know
showcasing tag
who
teams. You want to keep the Bulldogs and Heart Foundation in as long as you can.
you know who I really liked from TNA was America's Most Wanted. There
That
was
was
a
another team
time
like this.
Yeah, when they were first around, I actually thought like, man, if you brought these two big motherfuckers over to WB, how cool would they be? But then like I would have to say Beer Money kind of went past that tag team,
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. But they were pretty cool, you know. All right. We're doing a lot of TNA talk today. That's crazy.
I know. Well, it's
Man,
because
I might actually want some impact tonight because of this.
no, you'll regret it. I think
Yeah,
I
I
think what's
probably
going
would.
on there.
Oh, then comes now probably one of my favorite parts of this entire show. Um, we get a great video package of Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. This is fantastic. This is like a 10-minute fucking video package where they show you all the fucking mean things he been doing to kids, and he's talking about how like, oh, like this is like the MJ. This is what MJF should be doing. He's just like, you know what, like I know you poor people love Thanksgiving, but I like Thanksgiving too. But like I like it better than you guys. They show you all the videos of all him like cheating people, like the kids out of money. It looks like he gets like a very young Linda McMahon to bark at him. Is
He
that
does
Linda
like
McMahon?
Linda McMahon.
It's not.
I don't know. I didn't. I don't know. It looks like her though,
It
but
looked like Linda McMahon a lot. Yeah.
it almost looks like this is. It almost looks like too attractive to be Linda, but could it also like the woman acted like Linda? I don't know. Well, she
You
was
have
an
to keep in
attractive
mind
woman, but she was more attractive than Linda.
that was also like 1987,
I
right?
know. I
So
know.
Linda was younger then, so it could be her, right?
It
Like
could be
Linda,
her.
yeah.
It
Like
just
when
I
by the
never
time we
heard.
see Linda, it's like 20 years later. You
By the
know?
way, I love when he was. I was like Vince. Vince must love women barking like dogs. That must be a thing for him.
Yeah, he has a thing about women having women bark like dogs. It's very weird. But and then after we get that great video package, you get Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura just sitting there, just killing time. They're just talking. They're talking about the matches they
Yeah, I'm
saw.
wondering
They
why
talked
they had
about
to kill so much time because it's not like they had to set up a cage like they always do in the NWA shows.
yeah. But here's the thing: even though they're just sitting there talking, it was actually enjoyable.
Yeah, because they're getting over things. They're not,
Yeah, because they have Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse. They just have such great chemistry. Like they're on opposite sides of their viewpoints, right? But it's like no, if Gorilla Monsoon makes a good point, Jesse will give it to him,
yeah, yeah.
right? And vice versa. If Jesse makes a good point, Gorilla will give it to him, right? But
Mhm.
if they have a disagreement on, let's say, Hulk Hogan, and because Jesse's a heel, he doesn't like Hogan. He goes, "Well, I think Hogan's a coward." Gorilla will just be like, "All right, well, whatever." He just moves right along, right? But these guys are just. I could listen to these guys talk, which is basically what we did for like 10 minutes, just listen to them talk, and it is like it doesn't like it didn't bother me at all. Like I enjoyed them talking more than that fucking atrocious 10 versus 10 man tag team match. So they were great. You know what also made me realize when I was watching this? Why the fuck did they start going to a 3-man booth? Like, this is perfect. Just two guys. Why do they have
Well,
to have
if you
three
notice on
men?
the pay-per-views and on SmackDown, they have a two-man booth.
Yeah, like you don't need to do a 3-man. You just go back to a 2-man. 2-man is fine.
What about Rand? Well, what about AEW? They have a four-man sometimes.
I know that's fucking ridiculous. And I'm watching these old Starrcades. I'm watching these old pay-per-views. They're all 2 men. Why do you need? When did they start doing this 3-man? When did that start happening?
It started during when so Jim Ross could sit with Vince and Jerry Lawler, but they were a good three-man booth. Those three.
Yeah, see, like it doesn't matter, I think, if it's good, right?
Mhm.
But a
It's more
lot of times,
focused if it's two.
yeah, like right now, I would say AEW's Dynamite 3-man booth is actually really good. Taz, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone are actually really good together. But when I watch like Raw, I don't think that's a good 3-man booth, right?
Well, now it's only two men, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
the Irish guy and Corey
Kevin
Graves.
Patrick
Yeah,
and what's his name, Corey, right?
but look how better Michael Cole got when it was just him and Pat McCaffrey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is
And
that how you say his name?
right now, Michael Cole and
Pat
Wade
McAfee.
Barrett are pretty good. Pat McCaffrey, yeah. What?
Pat McAfee. Sorry.
Yeah. Right now, I think Wade Barrett and Michael Cole are good too,
Yeah,
right?
and Cole is also good with Corey Graves on the pay-per-views.
Yeah. But
Yeah, 3 people kind of drag everyone down. Yeah.
oh, dude, when I watch Rampage, it's ridiculous. Where it's like 4 people.
Dude,
It
Jericho
is.
just yells.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous. You got to get rid of. If you want to keep Jim Ross, I would take Excalibur off that show. I think it's a detriment to have Excalibur there. Especially if you have somebody who's undermining him. Don't just get like you need to get rid of like. There's just ridiculous how many people are in the booth. Just it's fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go to our fourth and final match. We got Rick Rude with Bobby Heenan, King Kong Bundy, the Natural Butch Reed, the One Man Gang with Slick, and then Andre the Giant. Mean Gene, he talks to all the good guys with Hogan and everybody, and they're all hungry. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm hungry and shit like that. You got Bam Bam Bigelow with Sir Oliver Humperdinck. I forgot all about this guy. You know that? I
Oh, about
legit,
Oliver Humperdinck?
yeah, I had totally forgotten about this guy. He left my memory banks, right? Because I remember going like, who the fuck is this guy? And then when they introduced him, I was like, oh my god, that's Oliver Humperdinck, and all of a sudden it just came flooding back. But like, I legit forgot all about this guy.
Dude, I'll say this: there should never be a face manager. Never be a face manager. A face. That's why I hate that fucking the Lucha Brothers had that idiot walking with them.
Oliver Humperdinck.
The
I
problem
don't
with
like
a face manager can't interfere, so he's just standing there like an idiot. The
Yeah,
only face manager that ever worked was Paul Bearer.
yeah, but that doesn't even count because he started off as a heel,
Yeah.
right? Like that was the heel
But
package, and
also,
then when
he would like do things and Undertaker would react. So he would hold
yes,
the urn, Undertaker would get up. He's
yes,
still like kind of interfering, but
yes,
most of the time,
yes.
like that guy with the Lucha Brothers, he just stands there and he's just in their way in the camera. He's like fucking
Oh, dude, I always say I think he's the worst. They got to get rid of him.
yeah.
I don't know who's worse, Alex Abrahantes or Oliver Humperdinck. They both look
Alex Alvarentis, because
they both look ridiculous. They both look
Oliver
ridiculous.
Humperdinck didn't last as long as this guy.
Yeah. Anyway, Bam and Bigelow was Sir Oliver Humperdinck, Ken Patera, Tom Morocco is now a good guy, and Paul Orndorff and Hulk Hogan.
Dude, by the way, beginning of the year, Hogan was feuding with Orndorff. Now they're friends again.
Yeah, I know, right? Hogan hits a leg drop on Butch Reed. Butch Reed is out. There's a loud Andre the Giant sucks. There's a loud Andre sucks chant. One Man Gang hits a clothesline on Patera. Patera goes out. Rick Rude rolls up and he holds the tights. Paul Orndorff is out. Don Morocco hits a power slam on Rick Rude. Rick Rude is out. Andre headbutts Don Morocco, who falls down, and then One Man Gang splashes him. So Don Morocco is out. Hogan is cleaning house, but then he starts going outside the ring, and Hogan gets counted out. I'm fucking like amazed by this. So now it is 3-on-1. It is Bam Bam Bigelow versus King Kong Bundy, One Man Gang, and Andre the Giant. I am very surprised by it. Bam Bam, by the way, is super over too. Like people love this guy. Bam Bam hits a slingshot body splash on King Kong Bundy, and Bundy goes out. Then One Man Gang goes up on top, and he like misses a splash, and One Man Gang is out. So now it's just Andre and Bam Bam, and Bam Bam starts like rolling around trying to escape Andre, but Andre hits a suplex on him, and Bam Bam goes out. Andre is he's a sole survivor, and as soon as Andre wins, Hogan comes back into the ring and attacks Andre like a heel. People are going crazy for Hogan, and
then Hogan poses like he won.
They play as soon as the match is over. They play Hogan's music, even though he was eliminated like midway into this match, and he does like the longest pose down. And let me tell you something, people, I love this pose down. I love this. I love this. He just like it's like the X-ray he's giving the fans. He does the thing where he like points at the fucking one side. He does all the fucking like poses, And then he turns to the other side and he points at them and he goes, "Let me hear you guys cheer." All right, that's a good enough cheer. I'm gonna give you guys the pose. Dude, people are sticking around. Like this show is over. It's
Just to
fucking
watch
like
Hogan celebrate
Thanksgiving Day,
losing.
and they want to watch him like pose to all the sides. Like, dude, you know what? You know what's been really great about Hogan? I was not a Hogan fan growing up. I just wasn't. I'm not a. I was never a big fan of like the one good guy who can't be beat. Like I don't like. That's why I don't like Superman or anything. So I missed all this. Also, I was like 5, so I didn't watch it right when it came out. Watching all these old pay-per-views now really makes me appreciate Hulk Hogan. Like the
Yeah.
guy is so charismatic and he's so determined to like send the fans home happy and he connects with them so well. Hogan, like, dude, this match should have been like 2 minutes and just Hogan doing a pose down for like 20 minutes. And I would have been like, this is great. This is a great show.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking loved it, dude. Afterwards, Mean Gene talks to Andre the Giant. It's not over between him and Hogan. What did you think about this?
I mean, I get what they were going for because they knew they were going to have the rematch to set up
Yeah.
WrestleMania 4. But it's weird. It's weird. Like, I think it was great that they had Bam Bam do what he did.
Why
I mean,
did they do that? Why did Bam Bam be the last guy, like
they
3-on-1? Were they trying to build him
they
up?
thought Bam Bam could be like the next Hogan at the time.
Did they really?
Yeah, he was teaming with Hogan on all the house shows. They had in their
You know
head
what?
that
I can see that because Bam Bam was really popular in this match.
yeah, like when it's just him, the people aren't like, "Where's Hogan?" They're like, "Let's fucking go, Bam Bam," which I was
Yeah,
surprised because he's never over like this again.
never, never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like really into him, and he was a really good face, and he's beating King Kong Bundy, he's beating the one man gang, he's looking fucking he was young too. He was very young.
And he could move for a big fat guy.
He was Brock Lesnar before there was Brock Lesnar. I mean,
Mhm.
this guy was a great worker. And they just what happened was Andre didn't like him, and basically Andre chased him out. And when he came back, like Vince didn't see him the same way.
Really?
Yeah, Andre hated him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know Andre didn't like Bam Bam Bigelow. I gotta look that up. That's so interesting to me.
Yeah, so that's but Bam Bam like Bam Bam was really young too, and like he couldn't handle it, so he left and went to Japan. Then he's in WCW in '88, and so dude, I 87 kept going when I was done watching it, and Bam Bam Bigelow's in the his match at Starrcade '88. It's in the video package, like they're hyping him up being there. So I don't know. I kind of think that Bam Bam could have been like a major face in WWE, even in the mid to late '90s. It's just they never really got behind him, like they did here. They got behind him here, and it worked.
Man, this makes me like Andre chased out fucking
Big John Studd.
Big John Studd as well,
He
right?
didn't like big guys. He didn't want big guys. He didn't want any
But
big
but
guy.
Bam Bam's not even that big.
I
He's
mean, he's bigger than
actually,
him.
if you look at him,
But here's
one
the key. Here's the key with Bam Bam. Bam Bam's doing shit that none of those other big guys can do. They can't
yeah,
even.
because okay, One Man Gang and fucking King Kong Bundy are way bigger than Bam
But
Bam.
they're not good athletes.
So Andre didn't have a problem with them.
Yeah, because Bam Bam is a big. I think what Andre's problem was is that Bam Bam's a big guy who can move like he's fucking Rey Mysterio, and he's like, well, what's my appeal? I walk around like a fucking oaf, and this guy's doing cartwheels and moonsaults, and he can work. He can work like he's a cruiserweight. I'm sure Andre didn't say that word, but that's probably why he fucking chased him out because it's like I can barely move. These other guys can barely move, so it's okay. I mean, I think One Man Gang's a pretty good worker for his size.
I mean, Andre must be an idiot then, because
I think
you're the top
Andre's
big guy, bad guy, right? You're the top big man, bad guy. So if I was a top big man, bad guy, I would be like, if I don't like any big guys, it's got to be another big guy, bad guy.
no, he
Like,
doesn't. He doesn't want. He didn't want to fight big guys. He wanted to fight guys that were smaller than him. Bret Hart.
yeah, but like watch him versus like Bam Bam would have been great.
He
You
doesn't
know?
want. He doesn't want that.
Yeah, because Andre's an idiot. He's a fucking
Yeah, he
idiot.
wants. I listened to an interview with Jake Snake, and Jake Snake said Andre sold more for me and Bret Hart than he would for Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, yeah. I think okay.
I
No,
think
I
Andre
don't
just wanted to be
disagree.
the only. Andre wanted to be this. If Andre could be this fucking Indian guy in AEW, he'd be ecstatic. He'd be like, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah.
You know
No,
how
I
like he's
mean,
the only big guy they have in that fucking company?
yeah, I don't disagree. I just think it was stupid of
Oh, it
Andre.
is stupid. It's
Yeah.
fucking dumb because people still talk about Big John Studd, Andre the Giant to this day. People loved it. And I mean, it is what it is. Nobody talks about Jake the Snake versus Andre,
Yeah.
you know? Even though both guys are fucking legends. People like seeing Andre fight big guys. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, dude, I like seeing big guys versus big guys.
Yeah.
There's nothing more interesting than watching big guys versus big guys. And like, if I'm Andre, I would have been like, you know what? I don't like King Kong Bundy and One Man
No,
Gang.
I think you no, you're talking about Bayman Big Low, Big John Studd.
No. If I was Andre, I would have been like, I don't like King Kong or Bam Bam or One Man Gang because I want to be the top big man heel, right? And those guys are heels too. But if you're a big man, I'd rather you be a good guy and I can fucking work with you, and make
Yeah.
money with you. Because nobody wants to see a bad guy versus bad guy. They want to see good guy versus bad, you know? And if there's going to be two big men who are bad guys, I want to be the top one. And my biggest threat would be like King Kong Bundy, a younger, bigger, meaner guy than me, not some fucking like Hulk Hogan best friend Bam Bam Bigelow. We're on two different fucking fields. But that's why I think Andre is kind of stupid.
He is, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think Andre. I think no one ever said Andre Giant's a genius. So
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right. I don't think I've ever.
no one was
right.
like, "Oh, Andre like used to solve math problems in the back."
I don't think anyone's ever been like, yeah, oh Andre, he's like
I
he's like
mean,
Einstein, just bigger.
but yeah, with Survivor Series '87, I mean, it's not like again, I've never really liked rewatching this show. I rewatched it for the podcast, and it pretty much was what it was. It's not a fun show.
No.
They don't really. None of the results leave you feeling good. The whole thing. Bruce Pritchard has argued that he thought Andre should have pinned Hogan in this match rather than the count out thing to set up.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's still the highest rated wrestling match in TV history. I mean, how much bigger can the rating get? If you know what I mean, like I know the finish this, but it just felt like very inconsequential. Hogan and Andre really don't even touch barely, so it's almost like they got baited and switched into ordering this. It's a strange start to what is a historic pay-per-view, but it gets better. They get better. We'll see as we watch. I really like 89 and 90 a lot. So
I would say definitely don't watch this favorite. This is awful.
no,
Don't watch it.
unless you like want to appreciate Hockey Talk, man, and the
Yeah.
Jumping Bomb Angels.
Yeah, or if you want to know who Craig DeGeorge is,
Yeah.
then you can watch this.
Next week, Andrew Lee, we are in 1988. We're going to be in 1988 for a while. There are actually 8 pay-per-views that year. And the first show is going to be the Bunkhouse Stampede. It's an NWA pay-per-view.
Wow, Bunkhouse Stampede.
Yeah. Takes place in Long Island. And the same thing happened.
Long Island?
Yeah. They tried to go into Vince's territory. Nobody showed up.
Oh my gosh. Wait, they went to Long Island. What's they called Bunkhouse Stampede?
Yeah.
That's like me going to Memphis for like the hip hop showdown. It's like
not even because there is Memphis hip hop. It's like the fucking like Asian.
No, I mean like back in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Like back in the 80s, going to Memphis with the fucking hip, or fine, going out to Memphis with the fucking with the I don't know EDM fucking showdown.
So the same thing happens. Vince tries to threaten just to get you ready for next week. Vince tries to threaten the cable companies. They're like, no, fuck you. We're airing both pay-per-views. Go fuck yourself. We're gonna have the pay-per-view. So he takes the Royal Rumble and puts it on free TV. He puts it on USA to fight against the Bunkhouse Stampede, and that's why the Royal Rumble. So Royal Rumble Survivor Series, both created to ruin Jim Crockett's life, and he's dead. And Vince was backstage this weekend, so it worked.
And you know what though?
Both
they
are
were
great
both
pay-per-view
created.
ideas.
They were both created to ruin Jim Crockett financially, but they ended up becoming like these long-lasting legacies.
Yeah,
You know?
and in the Royal Rumble's case, it's my favorite pay-per-view of the year. I
Oh
love.
yeah, I like it better than WrestleMania.
Yeah, I
Plenty
love.
of times.
I
Yeah,
always a good time watching the Royal. Even though the Royal Rumble sucks, it's still a fun time to watch.
yeah.
So the next week is Bunkhouse Stampede, and in 2 weeks we're gonna do Royal Rumble. Then in 3 weeks we're gonna do WrestleMania 4, and then in 4 weeks the Great American Bash '88.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait.
So yeah, what are you looking forward to the most?
This Bam Bam Bigelow shoot interview on Andre the Giant. That's what I'm actually looking forward to the most. I did not know this, and now that you told me this, I'm so curious about this thing.
Oh, okay, but I mean, like about the 4 shows we talked about.
Oh, Royal Rumble, dude. Royal Rumble.
Yeah, to see the first Royal Rumble, see how it goes down. But next week we're gonna see the Bunkhouse Stampede. It's a battle royal where you got to get out of the cage. So get ready for that.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Andrew Lee's now with his new best friend, Bam and Bigelow. Guys, please follow me on TikTok and stuff, Ray Goots Comedy. Follow me on Instagram at Ray Goots. And yeah, and don't forget, we're gonna have to do the big show, the Laps Fan podcast. At the beginning of April. Andrew Lee, thanks for doing the show, bro.
No problem. I'll see you guys later.
See you guys later, guys.